Using yellow in our art is not always easy. It's one of those colors that you use because you grab and it's pretty, but to use it correctly and to not get frustrated, sometimes you just have to really practice with it. This video was put together and it was Cola6986. Thank you for the question. She asked if I would talk about yellow and the value of using yellows in our art. I've popped up a couple paintings where I've used yellow and I've used different variations of yellow in my art, but I've never really thought about learning or studying the value of using yellow because I've never really used yellow alone in a painting. But this video will talk about it, and you'll be a little surprised at the mixing of yellow with white and the mixing of yellow with black, like we did in the last red painting value study, and what happens. Good morning. Of course, it's morning here. My name is Cheryl Wilson, and I've got a lot of new subscribers. So my name is Cheryl Wilson, and I'm an abstract artist, and I am a working artist. So I do sell my art, and I do YouTube videos to try to help explain how I paint as an abstract artist to help those that are walking through their journey as an artist. So I hope some of the videos help you. This one is actually tailored to a question I got asked about values with yellow. If you looked at last week's video, some of you are new, you may have joined in because of that video. If not, if you haven't seen it, go back and look at that one, is values with red. You remember that I did the value scale, and when you add white to red, it lightens it, and you add black and it darkens it. And when you do a painting, you want a good mixture of the lights and darks. I'm going to put a value scale right here for you. I mentioned, and I'll mention again, that most artists, including me, paint in the mid-value range. And it's something that you have to constantly remember to make sure that you include the darks and the lights. And I think I know why the question was, could you do a value scale or could you do a painting? It's kind of mixed together with yellows. Because there's a lot of different yellows, first of all. But yellow to me is a hard color to quite understand the values. There's so much I could talk about with yellow. And this is a Lucas paint. It's like a medium body. It's cadmium yellow. There's no way I could go into everything that had to do with yellow, especially if you are a realistic artist. There's so much to know about it. A good example is if you're painting a banana and the banana's sitting there and it's a still life, there's going to be a lot of shading that you're going to want to do with that banana that I'm not going to even hit. I'm an abstract painter, so I'm going to talk about some of that, but I'm going to talk about more how doing yellow and the values with yellow relate to abstract and particularly me. So remember before when I said let me put a blob of yellow here in the middle, that if you were to add white to the mix, you're going to lighten the yellow. And if you were to add black, it will darken the color. And these colors in between are, you're going to be painting your painting, And then you're going to make sure that you're adding in some very nice pale yellows. And then you would think that you would be adding in some really nice darker yellows. But let me show you what happens when you, let's add some white in. This works fine. We've lightened that up here. The very pale yellow. Don't look at that. That's a, I've red on here. So let's add another one. Let's add, I'm going to add a lot of white here. And that makes even a lighter, almost till you get a light, very, very pale yellow. Beautiful colors. You can make a beautiful painting with this range here. So what happens when you do yellow, and we're going to darken it, because you think you're going to get a really beautiful, almost like a yellow ochre, because a lot of people do buy this yellow ochre. You think, okay, I'm going to get colors that are going to darken up my painting, but let's add this black, and like, oh, well, that didn't darken up my painting. Add a little bit more black. I've got a beautiful shade of green. Now, when you do yellow and you do black, you get a beautiful shade of green. And these are great if you're going to do an abstract painting and you actually want these, because these greens and this mixture here, this would make an absolutely beautiful painting. But if you make that even darker, that's a beautiful, beautiful green. But I hope you can see that. So you can make a beautiful painting with all these colors here. But you're saying, okay, Cheryl, I want to make a painting with the, I don't have yellow ochre. I want to make a painting with darker colors of the yellow hue, which is color. So what you do is you're going to want to, and this is not something I think about, this is just something that I've actually had to research myself in the past, but you're going to add, and I have some over here, let me add this, you're going to actually neutralize basically the yellow with some red, okay, and then through that color we can add more white. We add white over here. And keep adding white and yellow and red till now you have like a almost like an orange, a darker, and play with that. So let's add more white in here. So there's a color. It's harder to see. That is yellow, and you're getting towards more of a darker. That's yellow, and that's more of like a peach. Let's add some of the black in there. There's like, it's hard to see, but there's like a yellow ochre. That'd be like if you had like, say you had, you know, in still life, a banana. Well, that didn't work because I had a lot of a banana. And then you want to darken it up for the shadow with a darker value of the yellow. You're going to be mixing some of the red in, then you're going to be playing back and forth till you get the color that you want of yellow and then some white. And to get a little bit darker, there may be a time that you want to add some of the green in. Let me go back to the other brush. It was a little easier to use. Maybe add a little bit of red. Let's add more white. That really neutralized it. Grade it down. So there, finally we've got like even a darker right there. So if you follow this, this is not a clear cut of a value scale of adding white and black. White was fine. By adding black, you're going to get green. So if you want some of these other variations, here's that even this is, let's get some of this. So you can see 1, 2, 3, it's get darker and darker. And so you are actually going to just keep playing with this color to get the color that you want. And that makes it even darker. So that may have been too much red, so let's add in maybe some more of this yellow. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. I hope you can see this without getting very, like, really super technical. Then that a lot of this would go into like an advanced color class or an advanced. If I do start my membership class on my website under Intentional Artist, this would get deeper. But I wanted to show you that this is the way by adding, if you add black, you're going to get green, which are beautiful. But if you want to keep with your yellows, you're going to neutralize it. And I did it with red and then adding the white and the yellow back in until you get to a darker color that you want. And then what would I use for the dark? You could use black, or you could use your green. So I hope that made sense. Let's paint a painting, and so that maybe some of this with the going lighter and going darker by neutralizing it makes sense. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper. So I'm going to try to paint a painting. Now, this is not going to stick 100%. I'm going to be adding other colors into this, like the black and the green, simply because I think it makes for a better painting. So Let's see if I can bring some of these since I already have them done. This is just a mixed media piece of paper. I'm going to get some wet on it. And I'm going to start by just doing a overall, let's grab some of this. I'm going to start by just coloring in. Coloring in, I sound like a little school kid. I'm going to bring some of this light in. Some of this really light in. Let's get some of the dark in. Let me change my brush. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of these colors that I already have. This type of video is a little more difficult to explain because of the idea that values and value scales is something that you just have to keep practicing. It's not something that you may necessarily get right off the bat. I want to keep this piece of paper near me because I want to keep adding. Yeah, like that. I'm using this scraper. It's a catalyst wedge. They're not the cheapest things. You can also go in with paper towel. I had a good week last week. Just to encourage you, I had 2 sales to 2 new collectors. I call them collectors. One was from one of you off of the YouTube channel, and then one was someone that a local artist that I work with, and they came over and bought 5 paintings for their newly decorated home. So I was very pleased that I was able to have that in my art journey, because sales is what it's all about, right? Well, some people it's not. The journey, it's about the journey. It's about so many things. But if you're an artist that this is what I do, is I paint to sell my paintings, and it is an income source for me, sales is important. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to add some of the green. Now the green, again, is still one of the colors that's created by using the yellow. It's just, if you were to look at the value scale of yellow, green is not one of the yellows. It's a color created from the yellow and the black, if you know what I mean. Let's add some more. I'm grabbing from my palette over here some of the darker. I'm just, again, to get this color here is by adding the reds and then adding back in some yellows and some whites. Let's add in straight yellow from the bottle, because this is where it all started. All these colors were a derivative off of this. I just want a bunch of different colors. sure I'm going to have to mix some more. I want to make sure I have some of the lighter. So over here on the side, I'm going to mix some yellow and some white. So I do have some areas where I have the lightest. Because what I had was working in the middle of the value scale. You always have some lights and you always want some darks. Okay, so there's some of my lights. Now I'm going to add in some of the green. Take the scraper. Some of that I want to flatten out. And it doesn't hurt to use some of the reds. So I'm going to actually start to really pop this painting by bringing in some of this red. And to further pop the painting, just add some black. Okay, now one of the other things I want to do is bring in some charcoal. So basically the painting started out with the different colors of the yellows, and I've deviated it now because I've gone into a creation mode to create an abstract painting for myself. So let's go in and just make our marks. I always like the little thin rigger, so let's go in with some, black over here to kind of bring the eye around the canvas. So you've got a different looking big mark here, you've got a mark over here, and I'm just enjoying that. Do I want any other colors? Do I want to add in some fun, some more light? Okay. Once again, my abstracts may not be your style of abstracts. It's the understanding, and if it's not, the concept of what I'm telling you about the yellows and adding in the white to get to the lighter yellow, and adding in, if you add black, you get to greens, but by neutralizing it with red and then bringing in your yellows and your whites and just keep playing with it till you get to your darker values, that's the concept of what this video was about. Not to create a painting that everyone is going to love. This is my style of abstract art. You're going to be creating your own style of abstract art. Okay? I wanted to pop in here and just again show you the dynamic nature of what you can do with your smaller paintings. This study of a smaller painting, if I were to want to create this larger, recreate, of course it's going to look different, but it would just be a beautiful painting. In my opinion, it's my style of abstract on a larger scale, and I wanted to show this to you because so many of you commented that you enjoyed seeing it, just a visual of what it would look like on a larger scale, and I just love it. And some of these I am going to create larger. So I'm going to grab another one because I always try to do at least 2 paintings. Okay, let's do... Let's add some more this time I'm going to add more white in here. Again, this is mixed media paper. Okay. Always have to get my fingers in. Okay, let's see. What I did was I mixed red and yellow together to get orange. This is very wet. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this. You keep playing with this scenario here. I took out a fan brush and I'm liking this orange. Let's bring in maybe some more white. The beauty of this is every color that you now create is going to harmonize with everything else that you do. Okay, I want to even make this orange brighter. Okay, let's add some of that. I'm not quite sure where this abstract is going to go. I'm just playing with it. Okay, let's say I want to bring in some straight red. Okay, I'm thinking I want to make some more of this color here because this is all dried up. So you use some yellow with a tad of green. And then we're going to add in white. Again, I'm mixing all this over here. And you're going to want to just mix your own. Don't do exactly as I do. Enjoy this. Okay, I'm going to do a little swirl here. If you hear my husband here, I now have a husband who is retired and he's home every day. Yeah, okay. 42 years of marriage. We love each other. But to have him underfoot every single day, this I'm going to see. We'll see how this goes. So I'm liking that color. Let's bring in some more white into that color. And then at the very end, I'm going to want to more white. I'm going to want to really lighten it up with my white and black on this one. going in and toning down some areas to make sure it's not too much going on. So let's let this dry. Before I do that, let me bring in some markers. I love some marks. So I would say we do have some dark colors here, dark values, if you want to call it values, hues. They're not really hues because the color, these are more of the value of the colors. So I want to ensure that I have a very dark value, because I don't want it to all be right in the middle zone. So let's go in with let's start with my brush. Try my hands. I want to bring in some dark color. That was the brush I wanted. Let's see. All right. This is a nice center of interest here, if you want to call it that. Look, right away, the eye just pops right down here. I want to make this a larger shape than the other areas. I also want the eye to go a couple different places. So I'm going to use the dark value to draw the eye over here. Alright. And another thing I think I'm going to do is bring in, I'm going to use my high flow white just all of a sudden starts to pop the painting. Do I know where I'm going to put this? No. I feel like I want some more marks right in the middle here. Just let that dry and take a look at it. So this one, after it pretty much dried, I thought it needed something. So I grabbed, this is a layer of a napkin, and I'm just going to add with, this is Gek. Let me add a piece over here. What I do with the napkins is they come 2-ply, and I just peel the back off. So there, I like that. I have to be careful because sometimes when I do this, I may scrape part of it off. I like that a little bit better. I felt like it just needed something. I could have done dots another way. This is like a stick. I could have done, let's see. I wanted to add more dots on the paper. Now, on this particular one, even though it started out with the yellows, I could actually go in and add another color. And what would look nice is the complement of this orangey red color. So maybe I take a small brush and add some turquoise. Couple marks. Gonna rub some in. So I'm going to let it dry and take a look at it and see where we're at. Is it a finished painting? At this point, it's still to be determined. So once again, I thought I would just show you this enlarged. And this would be a little harder one to enlarge and capture all the marks, but you could capture a lot of what you did, especially the colors and the color palette. And I thought this really looked cute, like in a kid's room with all the colors and all the marks. And I can even see this where you take your child's handprint and just place their handprints right in the middle of this piece of art. That's how inspired it got me for a kid's room. So here's the two paintings. I turned them sideways, quite different from each other. And again, the main reason was just to start out with a value scale of yellow. You certainly can create an entire painting with yellow, but I wanted to show you that I usually have other colors involved with the yellow. But each one of these colors in both these paintings all complement each other because they're a derivative of the mixture of each of them. So when you have, like, you could have with the yellows and then mixing the red in there and the black, getting the greens and then mixing them all together. You can have many, many different colors. They're all going to look good together because they have a little part of each color within each one of them. So I hope this was helpful to you. So at this point, we've made it to the end of the video. This is a long video, so I'm going to make this short. Thank you for coming back again week after week. I would love for you to do a thumbs up, which is a like. Tell me if you use yellow in your paintings. Tell me what you think of these value studies I've been doing. Thank you for those that have been sharing my videos, watching them to the end, and leaving comments. Thank you. And those that have joined my membership, thank you. Cannot, from the bottom of my heart, thank all of you enough for all that you've done for me.